And this is Alex from Lebanon, a nice largemouth there doing the selfie thing on Old Hickory Lake.
We got a BG1 jig head on here, a little worm tail. We're still gonna add some scent. I'm hoping this opens us up to some big bluegill, but is still enticing to a bass, should they see it. The fishing has been so frickin' slow. I see some occasional fish in the shallows, but they just watch all my stuff swim by. They don't even care. Here we go, trusty BG1. I had to go with a smaller spinning setup so I can cast the thing. There's a little nibble, probably a bluegill. There we go. What is it? First fish of the day. It's a tiny bass. It's a tiny bass. I'll call him a 1/4 pounder just for the sake of the video, but I don't even think it's that. Yeah, 6-inch bass here. First fish of the day. First fish of the last 3 days. Let's let it go. In a way, it's like I'm still fishing a Ned Rig, except this one doesn't have a flat head, like a block head. But fishing in the green slime, it's still gonna plunk down and stand up for a second. It might even stand up longer if it can create a small divot. So to me, this is a tiny Ned Rig. Oh yeah, before I forget, let's do an intro. Welcome back to Realistic Fishing. We're fishing with a BG1 this morning. One tiny bass so far, which is more than I've caught in the last few days. I was just saying it's like a tiny little Ned Rig. It actually does have a little bit of a flat spot on that jig head as well, so props to iFish for creating such a neat tiny jig head. It's like a baby Ned Rig head.
Realistic Fishing. Thank you, man. Love the channel, by the way.
I could also try the 1-inch swim bait again when the going gets tough. Sometimes that can get me a bite. I've been trying the Ned Rig mostly, the weedless Ned head Ned Rig. I just wasn't getting much, so I decided to downsize to a tiny little Ned Rig with a BG1. Butterfree. Come on. If I don't get a bite on this cast, we're gonna go look for a minnow profile. Maybe a gulp minnow or a tiny little boot tail fish. I said if I don't get one on this cast, I happened to get one on this cast. Oh, it's a beauty. Yes, that's way bigger than that bass, like twice the size. There we go. I'm gonna stand over the water, flat hand this fish. Wow, from my wrist well beyond my finger. This is like a 9-inch bluegill right here. Beautiful fish. Yeah. Oh, feels good to finally get one. Let's let it go. You can tell it's a good fish. Look at that dust, that dirt it kicked up. Yeah, let's keep going. And that's why I went with the small Ned head, the really small one. I can fish a 1.5 inch worm on this. Opens me up to some big bluegill. They might not go for that bigger Ned. And since I did get a bite on that cast, I'm not switching to minnows right now, but pretty soon.
This is Ben in Omaha, Nebraska, reminding you to keep it realistic.
All right, last thing I'm gonna try today. I'm already boiling in my own skin. There we go, 1 inch swim bait. We'll still blast it with the juice. I don't know if it's helping, but it's already in my pocket. Fish. There we go. Feels like a nice one. Oh, another nice big bluegill. This time on the swim bait. Not quite as big as that other one, but still really nice. And there it goes. Let's keep going. That's 2 bluegill today and 1 small bass. The tiny little jig head, the BG1 is coming through when pretty much nothing else will. Fish. Small bluegill. Look at that. Got a 4 incher. Maybe 3 incher. Nah, 3.5. Rough so far. There's a bluegill, right? You can do it. I'm counting that as a catch. Barely.
I'm Carter. I'm watching Realistic Fishing. Keep it realistic.
Well, I gotta admit, that was brutal. I got sweat pouring down my face. I'm not really catching much. This is what late summer fishing is really like. I tried a tiny little jig today. I would even consider it the smallest Ned Rig I know. And I caught 2 nice bluegill, 2 tiny bluegill, and 1 small bass. hopefully the fishing improves. Thanks for watching Realistic Fishing. Keep it realistic.